Okay, so after a little break to review some patterns, we're back at doing some hand stitches. Now, these are practical utility stitches that you would use in putting together garments. We're not doing samplers in a convent, so this is pretty much things that I hope will solve a problem for you. Often in a pattern, you have some units that need to be, it will say tacked together, a shoulder pad tacked in, lining tacked in at certain key areas, like at the shoulder point at the underarm and where it intersects on the seams. And if you just stitch them close together, what you're going to find, because people move and garments have to move too, is you're going to often get a puckering or pulling or dimpling in that area, and you know it's not right, but you don't know what's wrong. And what you need to have in your little toolbox is something called a swing tack or a French tack. Added to the long list of contributions of French garment making, French seams and everything else, but this is really useful. In this coat, which is wool gabardine with a silk twill lining, I have constructed I've got to be careful I don't wave my hands around, makes it difficult for my photographer, who I can't have quit me in any area of my life, but that this had to be attached. It was attached, machine sewn to the facing, but needed to be hand attached at certain places. What I've done here, if we can get a closer look at that, this is where the lining seam at the underarm attaches to the garment at the underarm. And rather than just stitching them together, I've made this kind of long kind of tail tack. And what that does is this means that they will stay attached. The lining is not going to spin around inside this coat, but it's not going to pull or pucker. And I'm going to show you how to do it. It's unbelievably easy. So what I've done here is I have, this is the seam, one of the seams of the coat. I have knotted my thread. I buried it just a little bit behind there in the seam allowance, and it's a double knotted thread. And then I'm taking, that's a little bit of extra thread from my trial run. This is the lining, and I'm going to just go right into the seam line, the seam allowance right there. You can see that close. See, it's not very, move my hands out of the way. It's only like 1/2 inch, maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. That's all you want of thread. So go once, and then you would go back. You know, keep those a little even, and just put in a couple little stitches to make it a little more secure down here. Okay, take it back up here. Probably you only need to do this maybe 3 times. That'll give you with double thread more, like lots of strength there. Put that there, and then if you are so inclined, what you can do is then travel down the length of this with hand buttonhole stitches. I'll just put a couple here just to kind of neaten that up at that end. Bring it back here. You do not need to do the hand buttonhole stitches all the way down. I, in fact, never do, because it would take more time than I'm devoting to tacking things together. But just a couple there, and see, that's it. That's all you need, and you've got that movement. So, very useful little thing to have in your repertoire. And tomorrow we're going to do a classic for marking, tailor tacks. All right, thank you. Oh, and my husband thinks it would be useful to let you know that I have written a book, so he is going to show you the book cover before we sign off, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.